LeBron James continues to set records for the Lakers, but can he produce for them down the stretch? That's next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, sometimes on weekends, even on holidays, and now more than once a day. No matter how where you get your podcasts, this one's always going to be free for you. Never behind a paywall. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you can hang out with over 37,000 subscribers to the channel. But of course, no matter how you're getting the podcast, whether it's Spotify, Apple, or the YouTube channel, you're part of making the Locked On Podcast Network the number one sports podcast network anywhere in the universe. Brian Kamenetsky, Andy Kamenetsky covered the Lakers for nearly 20 years with ESPN, the LA Times, and The Athletic. And Andy, over that time, I don't think I've ever seen a better player than LeBron James. I know that'll get me in trouble with some Lakers fans, but it just kind of is what it is. This question of what LeBron is and is not anymore is a highly relevant one for the Lakers. He set a record on Thursday for the most field goals ever made by a player, past Kareem. And, all this stuff at this point is sort of expected. There's no record that he's sneaking up on or anything like that. I want to get to, before we're done here, the larger question of what the Lakers ought to be able to expect, what they need from him down the stretch and into the playoffs. But it is worth acknowledging just how bonkers it is to pass Kareem in made field goals.
The shot that put him over the top that set the record was that low post turnaround fadeaway that has become one of LeBron's pet shots and one of his most devastating when it's really on. And he was asked about the impetus of that shot, and he said that, it's one that he's worked on throughout his career. And the impetus was, quote, losing to Dallas in the finals in 2011 and playing like bleep. That was the whole everything. He talked about how that was everything in the post. He went to go work with Hakeem Olajuwon during an offseason on post footwork and just general excelling in the post. It's something that Kobe did. He spent an offseason working with Hakeem on post footwork, which was ironic in the sense that Kobe had better post footwork than like 75, 80%, maybe even more big men in the league, much less guards. But it was an element of his game that he wanted to perfect. Powell did some working with Hakeem Olajuwon during an offseason. So he is an interesting footnote with other Hall of Famers, Hakeem Olajuwon, just because he's become the very specific Yoda along those lines. I also want to make sure to mention, and again, this is just so people do not misunderstand it, this is not taking anything away from LeBron's specific record that he set. Becoming the all-time field goal leaders is an amazing testament to his consistency and the longevity and the excellence, all of that. But it is always a reminder of one of my favorite kind of forgotten bonkers records in the NBA that will never be broken. LeBron passed Kareem for all-time field goals. That obviously includes three-pointers. That has become a big weapon for LeBron over the last several years. Again, testament to the work he's put into expanding his game, to quote the poet Andrew Bynum. But Kareem happens to hold the record for all-time two-point field goals. That one, kids, LeBron nor anybody is going to touch. Counting LeBron's 7 baskets in the loss to Denver, LeBron is now sitting on 13,220 two-point field goals, which, to be clear, that's really damn awesome in its own right. Kareem, 15,836 two-point field goals. Like that one, between the longevity of, Kareem and how three-point centric the league has become, and also just how incredible you have to be even with that longevity. Kareem can go to bed every night knowing he's going to have that one.
I got that
for
one
all of eternity. it's a truly bonkers stat that I love to mention because it's just crazy.
Well, I think it was Thursday that Cooper Flagg, the outstanding rookie for the Mavs, just scored his 1,000th point, which is really good. Like, pretty quick. Like, he got there fast. There's no question. He only needs to do that 43,000 more 43 more times, get to 1,000 points, and then he will catch LeBron. At least where LeBron is now. LeBron has over 43,000 career points. It really puts into perspective that the distance between him and other players is it's just insane. But obviously, as we mentioned, most of these records were expected. He's just going to keep piling up these things where there aren't that many, I guess, left where he passes this guy for that or that guy for this. And Lakers records, all sorts of stuff moving up the charts. The bigger question for the Lakers is what can they expect from him come the stretch run and the postseason? Because he's definitely not the player he was at the beginning of the season, and that is a good thing. But is he the player that has been such a prominent closer and playoff contributor over the course of his career? That's next.
Locked On Lakers is brought to you by FanDuel. College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. From early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on the board. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoop parlay you want, rivalry games, ranked matchups, the non-ranked scrappers. You can mix spreads, totals, and player props. You can go safe. You can go bold. You can just ride with the team you've been following all season, or maybe your whole life, the one that your family is all into. This is your tradition. It's your parlay. It's your style, now with more upside behind it. Plus, you can apply the profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payout. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game.
Locked On Lakers, also brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Welcome, everyone, to the 5 Hour Energy flavor draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti, craze, fruity rainbow, or cotton candy. There is something for everyone. The board is set. The flavors are ready. I've got my number one pick for the 5 Hour Energy draft. Andy, what do you think it is?
Cherry.
You're wrong. It's strawberry banana, a tropical delight with strawberry, a taste that goes on everything from smoothies and milkshakes to cakes and ice cream. Sweet strawberry flavor up front, soft, mellow banana finish, reminiscent, Andy, of a fruit smoothie. It's what I like. I like the low acidity. Makes it really easy to drink. Got a nice little gentle aftertaste. You doesn't feel like you're trying to do anything crazy there. So I really appreciate that. 5 Hour Energy shots give you a boost with zero sugar. You can find your way to 5 Hour Energy, your favorite flavor. Again, 18 to choose from. You can go to 5hourenergy.com or Amazon.
Locked On Lakers is brought to you by Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, the inbox overflowing, the one position that you still need to fill, it's sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed sponsored jobs help you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, skills, the experience, the location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate magically stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I'll be talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Spend less time searching, more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. So when you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show, you get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs.
So it is fair to say, Andy, that when LeBron first got back on the floor following the sciatica, it was worrisome, I think, is a good way of putting it. It was he did not play well, didn't have a lot of hop. It didn't, now it was understandable, didn't have a training camp, didn't have a summer to really train. Like he was starting behind the eight ball, no question, but it was still worrisome. He has since rounded into form over the Lakers' last 15 games. I don't think this includes Thursday, but of which he has played 14. He's averaging 20 points a game on 51% shooting, 5.5 rebounds a game, almost 8 assists a night. He's got a steal, almost about 3/4 of a block per game. So the numbers are definitely there. He has recovered and all that kind of stuff. He's generally speaking contributing. I also think it's fair to say that the high is a little lower. You don't get the 35-point nights from 40 points. It doesn't seem like he's doing everything at will, and the floor is a little bit lower. You do get more games where he's got 16 points, 15 points. The magical 10-point streak was already broken this year. He's not quite the same guy, or hasn't been quite the same guy, even as he has sort of rounded into a form that, like when the All-Star game came around, for example, you're like, okay, yeah, he's definitely worthy of the conversation. So what do you think he's capable of providing for the Lakers down what is potentially a very difficult stretch run?
Honest answer, I don't know. I don't know, because I think if we're all being honest, nobody knows, and that includes LeBron, especially now that he's dealing with his elbow injury that he incurred against Denver. Hopefully it won't sideline him for any longer than Friday's game against the Pacers, but we don't know. And even if it doesn't sideline him, we don't know how much residual effect there's going to be, combined with all of the other attrition that he is naturally dealing with, because he is 41 years old, playing 23 seasons of regular season basketball, combined with what is the equivalent of about 4 more seasons when you include the playoffs. So I have said this with LeBron a lot. I think a lot of this is unplannable. Like, you can do your best to try to manage and control it, but it's unplannable. It's why I believe him when he says he truly does not know what he's going to do beyond this season. My hope is that he can continue the pace that he's on, where he can control pockets of games and control them at a pretty effective level. I think he can't just do it at will anymore, and I'm not even sure how much he can pick the spots and make sure that those spots happen when he's picking them, because it's hard to know when he has attempted to do it and it hasn't turned on versus the times where he clearly has and he does. LeBron does not overwhelm, like, even when he puts up the numbers, and I would say he makes an impact, he doesn't generally overwhelm games the way that he used to, when he was at his peak, or even like 3-4 years ago. Like the way that you would feel LeBron's presence over the course of an entire game. That doesn't mean he can't contribute now, and I think he can, but the unprecedented nature of where we are right now, I think, makes it difficult to plan. In a lot of ways, I think what we are looking for realistically over these next 20-something games and the playoffs, I think, is much more of a reasonable question. What can we expect from Austin Reaves? Like, what can we count on Austin contributing? And I don't say that to take onus off what we need from LeBron, from what the Lakers need from LeBron. It's just, it's more reasonable to ask the guy in his prime, who is thought of as ascending, to be the one that you count on to make more of an impact than LeBron.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But and I don't want to ignore the question, but what do you think they need from LeBron? Because I disagree with nothing that you said about what you think you expect. I mean, I think what we've seen from LeBron now is sort of like, it's good form. I don't think it's fluky. If he's healthy, I think he can do it. I think he is pacing himself to try to bump it up a little bit more as they get down the stretch. And, you saw, Thursday night, kind of the confidence with what he was moving. And, clearly he feels like, there's something here. And, I'm feeling more like myself, and obviously in transition, he is still basically unstoppable and all that. But I agree broadly with your evaluation there. So what do they need? Because I think they need. I agree with you about Austin. We'll talk about it before we're done. But I think they need 15% more.
Here's what from LeBron or from Austin?
From LeBron.
Here's
if they're gonna really push, I think there needs to be 5, 10, 15%, just a little bit more, whether it's consistency or those dominant stretches or a little bit more dominant. But he needs to just be a little bit more building towards what he's been.
Here's what I think. If you're putting me on the spot and asking me like the thing that I think they need the most from him, whether you're talking about for the remainder of the regular season and trying to get this team rounded into the best version of itself, and then for however long of a playoff run they can manage, I think they need LeBron to really be able to somewhere between control and take over during the moments where Luka and or Austin are off the floor and it's LeBron's show to run. I think they need those minutes to pop. Like where if there's any time where you want it to feel like the cliche, LeBron still got it, old man still got, I think those are the moments that matter most. Because when he's out there with Luka, or when he's out there with Austin, or when he's out there with both of them, I'm sorry, the onus is on those guys more than LeBron. It should be on those guys more than LeBron.
I think that is fair. And the bigger thing about that, too, is like, in the grand scheme of things, if we're being honest here, it doesn't matter what LeBron does in the playoffs. Like, it matters to LeBron and it matters to the Lakers, but the long-term implications of whether if LeBron just can't quite, come through in the playoffs, doesn't quite have that, juice, looks like he's too easy to shut down, just makes it that much easier for the Lakers to say, you know what, it was a great run. Thank you. Please come back for your jersey retirement in a couple years. If AR is going to be under a microscope in the postseason this year, and I understand why, and he should be. If he really struggles again, and like the numbers may not be like, if the Lakers continue playing in the postseason like they are now, he's probably not going to put up 28 a game. There just isn't that available. But you need, like Thursday, he was, I want to say 6 of 11 for, with steals, and he was effective. He got his shots off when he needed to. He got into the paint. He was,
after a slow start, he's had a pattern of slow starts.
He has. You're right. I agree. But like overall, I thought he played a good game in Denver. I mean, the whole team got off to a slow start. They were outscored 11-0 in the first 3 minutes. So like if it's that kind of statistical output where he's got 7 or 8 assists and 18, 20 points and all that, where you could look at it and say, okay, he was getting where he needed to get, doing what he needed to do. And if you just give more usage in, with him as a number 2, you feel confident. If he struggles though, again, teams find it, too easy to shut him down or whatever it might be, then the questions for the Lakers this offseason just get a lot harder. There's just no two ways around it.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And they should.
But the LeBron question is an interesting one. But your point that it's secondary to the Reaves one is definitely worth remembering. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you can hang out with over 37,000 subscribers to the channel. Of course, Lakers playing the Pacers on Friday night, a game that they had better win. We'll be back to recap it all when it's over. See you then.